Hey, what's going on, guys? Fabio Palvelli here, back from all my traveling with a brand new video. I'm kinda laughing because I was home for maybe 7 days in this last month and a half. Lots of conferences and meetups where I was invited to either attend or speak. Soon I'll publish a couple of vlogs. I think you're gonna like them. Now, in case this is the first time that you tune in on my channel here, I like to talk about the business side of design and everything that is related to it. So in case, do consider subscribing. Today we're gonna talk about communication. This is probably not the first time that I talk about this stuff, but as I was telling you, I was on the road and I got the chance to speak to a lot of young designers which had a lot of interesting questions about communication. So I've decided to make this video for those of you who could not be there at one of these events. Yeah, communication rocks. Communication is very important when talking to clients, and believe me, even the most talented artists and designers sometimes get communication the wrong way. So today I want to share with you some tips and some recommendations, if you like, that you could try and implement the next time that you're face to face with a client, or maybe when you're in a meeting with somebody, maybe your boss, I don't know. I've already discussed this in the past. One way to make your clients happy is to lower their expectations and then try to over-deliver value. And the way you do this should never be explicit. You should always rely on an element of surprise. And when it's not possible to over-deliver value, then at least you should make sure not to disappoint your clients. And that is why it's very, very important to set lower expectations all the time. Trust me, it's not easy. I often struggle with it myself because it's very easy to get carried away, especially when you're very enthusiastic about your work and about your business. Also, it is very important to understand that clients know how to use communication to push you, the designer, and squeeze extra work for free. And sometimes these techniques can actually damage the quality of the work that you can provide. Because with such techniques, clients can drag you and your motivation to a place of unhappiness and frustration. And this applies to anyone: graphic designers, logo designers, people that make renderings, movies, etc. So let's see how we can counteract such situations to gain a bit of control back over our clients. I am sure that this is only a 5 minutes job. Oh my God, I hate that phrase. And you'll be surprised that even today, after all the conversations that people have online, on social media, on public forums, clients still talk like this. When a client says something like this, my recommendation is to simply ignore it. Some designers get really angry, and this is in a way understandable, but at the end of the day, if you let every little thing get to your head, especially in the design business, you're not going to survive. Consider this little expression as a conversational anchor. You should not care about it. Now, depending on the context, this might be someone that is looking for cheap labor, someone not interested in quality work. That's why they put emphasis on being a fast job, because maybe they don't want to spend the money. Or it could be somebody that is trying to push you down to squeeze out the cheapest price possible for your work. In any case, you should use this as a chance to let your clients know that there is no such a thing as a 5 minutes job, and that definitely you're not the type of designer that could be interested in that type of work. You could say something along the line of, "Dear Mr. Client, we only work on high-end, high-value residential projects. We understand that yours is not a high-end project, so we think we cannot help you at this time. In case your needs change in the future, we will be happy to dedicate you all the time you need to create a project that will make you happy." Say nothing more. Already by using the word happy, you're building expectations. It is okay. This is a cold lead that will probably remain as such, so don't worry about it too much. "Don't worry, I've got this." This is a phrase that I'm slowly trying to remove from my own vocabulary, and probably you should try too. I know, it feels almost counterintuitive not to tell your clients not to worry. We don't want our clients to worry, right? However, by saying to clients, don't worry, we build up expectations. And by doing this, we set ourselves up for failure. One better way to do it instead is to give yourself the time to listen and absorb. Last week, I was listening to Paul Nichols of Factory 15 being interviewed by my partner Jason, and one thing that Paul said during this interview was, at the end of each client conversation, it is a good practice to rewrite the brief that the client has given to us to make sure that we got everything right and see if we forgot something. Now, personally, I really like this because the goal, as always, is to fulfill our clients' needs. And I think that this is a great way to make sure that your clients get to be heard and understood, so that you can then provide them with everything that they're looking for. Now, it can happen that some designers, because of their experience and their ability to predict clients' requests, they cut the conversation short with their clients by saying things like, okay, don't worry, I understand. Again, it might seem counterintuitive, but this can also set you up for failure. You are basically telling your client, I get what you're saying, I will do exactly what you're thinking, it's going to be perfect. You see, there might be a problem with this. Instead, my suggestion is, take your time, make sure that you listen carefully, collect as much information about the project as possible, and then say something like, I think I have what I need, I will go over it again as soon as possible, I will let you know if I need more information from you. That will set a pace. Your client will know that you're on it. Then, of course, make sure that you have your contract in place, plus your 50% deposit in the bank before you start working. As I've already mentioned probably 100 times on my channel already. That is important because the contract actually will contain all the information that you have discussed with your client. And at that point, the contract is not going to be only a legal document, it's also going to be a design tool, because you can list all the things that you're going to do in it. That's why it's very important to have this kind of conversation very early in the design process. Clients will use aggressive communication to push you down and get you to do more work. Let me tell you a story. Once, when I was still working in my own studio together with Jason, we made some images for a client. One of these images was a living room that had a kitchen table with a basket with lemons in it. These lemons were maybe 2% of the whole picture. Plus they were covered by the basket itself, so you could barely see them. Anyway, long story short, the client started to aggressively criticize these lemons. Oh my god, what are you doing with these lemons? The environment is almost acid because of the lemons. I can almost smell them. A better designer would have used apples because apples are inviting, lemons are acid. Yeah, I know. Now bear in mind that this was a set of 5, maybe 6 images. Everything was done perfectly. I mean, the architecture was terrible, but we did a great job in visualizing it and making it look okay. But anyway, these lemons weren't really as bad as the client kept saying. Over time, I've learned that the reason why clients often become so aggressive about such small things is because they see it as an opportunity to destabilize your position in the business relationship that you have with them. I can make an example to show you what I mean. Say that you agree on a design with 2 rounds of changes. Then you start working on the project, you're talking to the client seems happy, then you present your work to the client, the communication up to then was fine, you did exactly what you were asked for, then your client suddenly, out of nowhere, reacts in a very disappointed manner, very aggressively, almost like if you made all possible mistakes ever. That is nothing but a cheap communication trick designed to break you. Think about it. If the client says without a real motivation that the design looks horrible and then points the finger against you, the designer, you are going to automatically feel bad about it. And that's because very often clients know that designers feel very strongly about their work and they think about their work a lot more emotionally than clients do. So all of a sudden you will feel compelled to ignore the 2 rounds of changes and you will start to think instead, oh my God, I have to do everything in my power to make my client happy. I cannot live with the idea that my client is not going to like my project. Oh my God, I do not want to disappoint my client. Do not worry, we all fell for it. The best way to react to a situation like this one is to interact. Do not get offended. Listen to what the client has to say, stay calm, and then say something like, okay, please give me all the feedback you have now because I'm going to make all the changes you have required at once. Any rework from this point on will be built separately. Now, bear in mind that if the client is nice, generally speaking, I try to be flexible about my interactions with them. But if you offer your finger to your client and then you see that the client is reaching and is trying to grab the whole hand, that is a red flag and you should be assertive enough to stop this before it evolves into something that you did not sign up for. Be always on top of everything that you do, and remember, in design, when working on a project for a client, it is a much better strategy to talk less and ask more instead. So react less and listen more. My name is Fabio Palvelli. Thanks a lot for watching. See you guys next time.